I'm doing another Kill Team Homebrew today, and this is for a Space Marine sub-faction. And this video is for anyone that listened to a little too much My Chemical Romance in high school, and that's going to be Raven Guard. If you've seen my Alpha Legion homebrew, this one's going to be a little simpler than that. With Alpha Legion, I went from the ground up, brand new entire kill team, new data sheets, everything. With Raven Guard, I'm trying to replicate what I think Games Workshop might actually do with sub-factions, and what those might look like when we actually get these Space Marine chapters. So this is going to be taking the base Space Marine fire teams and kill team that we have right now, and adding some more rules to them to make them actually feel and play like Raven Guard. So let's go ahead and look at the team. So the first rule change to our Raven Guard kill team is a new weapon option with Assault Intercessors. In the lore, they're known to use lightning claws, so I wanted that to show up here. Your normal warrior can replace their chainsword for a single claw, or he can give up all of his weapon options to run dual lightning claws, which running two of them gives you relentless on your attacks. The sergeant is the same story. You can give up your melee weapon for a single lightning claw, or you can entirely go with lightning claws to have the dual ones that have the same rules as before. Besides that, you'll have access to any of the other Space Marine fire teams besides Deathwatch, since they don't have the ability to pick a chapter since they're already their own chapter. Now let's look at their ploys. We're going to go a little bit out of order here and look at one of their tactical ploys first, that being reserves. This allows you to take any number of Raven Guard operatives and keep them in reserve before the battle starts, meaning that you don't deploy them onto the board. And then if you go and look at the strategic ploy Death from Above, you can later drop them onto the battlefield. This allows you to take 2 Raven Guard per turn to be dropped into the fight. And they can be anywhere that is more than 6 inches away from the enemy and the enemy deployment zone. And this can't be used turn 1, so you can't immediately drop them in before the fight starts. Also, because they're dropping in from above, I decided to allow it where they can drop on their vantage points. Raven Guard is a weird mixture of having rapid aggressive assaults and being sneaky, so I wanted this to represent the first part of that. Their next tactical ploy is on the opposite end of the spectrum, and it's about the stealth side of Raven Guard. It's called Strike from the Shadows, which is a more stealthy way to deploy. It allows you to take 1 Raven Guard and deploy them anywhere not in the enemy deployment zone, more than 6 inches away from enemy operatives, and within 1 inch of heavy terrain. And they're deployed with a conceal order. This is meant to replicate the idea that Raven Guard can kind of blend into the shadows and be able to sneak up on the enemy team. And finally, we have a tactical ploy that's drawn directly from their 40k rules, which is called a Deadly Prize. This is where they can rig up a trap on an objective. So this can be used at the end of a turning point, where your Raven Guard is within 3 inches of the objective, and there's no enemies within 3 inches of that same objective. You put a marker on it, and the next time an enemy ends a movement within 1 inch of it, the trap triggers. You roll a d6, and on a 1, nothing happens. On a 2 to 4, they take 3 mortal wounds, and if you roll a 5 up, they take 4 mortal wounds. And this can't be used on the same objective more than once. I'm hoping these ploys will really make them feel like Raven Guard. A lot of it's based on deployment, but the equipment I picked should help them stand out in the gameplay side of it. So let's look at what they can bring. The first is a Raven Guard relic called the Oppressor's End, which is a melee weapon. In 40k, this is used to take out characters, but here I changed it to work on enemy leaders. It's a pretty powerful melee weapon on its own, being comparable to like a power weapon, but when you're fighting a leader, it gets 2 additional damage and gains the brutal special rule. So it's really specialized to take out the enemy leader. And before I continue, if you think this is cool and want to download it, I have a Google Drive file of it in the description for totally free, so you can download it and print it off for yourself. Also, if there's anything you want me to make a homebrew for Kill Team, let me know, and if it's something interesting, I'll probably do it. So let's get back to the video. Next up, we have a sniper rifle. This is basically the profile of the scout sniper, but I thought it fit with Raven Guard pretty well since they're all about concealment, so I thought any of the Marines should be able to take it. And on a similar note, I also have a bolt suppressor as an option here. This lets them turn any bolt weapon into a silent weapon. This means they can stay back and stay hidden, but still try to pop off shots at their target. And the final piece of equipment is a jump pack attachment. This lets a Raven Guard spend 1 AP to activate it, ending the fly keyword until the end of the turning point. I mean, they can't be ravens if they don't fly, right? Alright, and that wraps up the Raven Yard Homebrew. Like I said earlier, feel free to download it if you want to try it. Share this video if you found this cool and want to play with any of your friends. Remember to like and subscribe, and as always, thank you for watching.